Remember that peculiar sizzle of liver hitting a hot pan in Grandpa's kitchen? The sound that made you scrunch up your nose as a kid? Well, get ready for a nostalgic trip down memory lane because we're about to uncover 15 forgotten foods that were once staples on his dinner table. From gelatinous molds to pickled pig's feet, these dishes might sound bizarre to modern taste buds, but trust us, each one tells a story of resourcefulness, tradition, and the changing face of American cuisine. Curious about what your ancestors are chowing down on? Let's dig into our first forgotten food and discover the flavors that shaped our culinary heritage. Remember that distinct smell wafting from Grandma's kitchen? The one that made my brother and I argue over who got to sit furthest from the table? Yep, we're talking about liver and onions. A dish that sparked heated debates at dinner time. Why was it so popular back then? Let's slice into the history of this controversial meal. Liver was once considered a superfood, packed with iron, vitamins, and minerals that kept our grandparents strong and healthy. Picture this: a sizzling skillet, caramelized onions, and that unmistakable iron-rich flavor. For many, it was comfort food at its finest. Liver and onions wasn't just about taste. It was about making the most of every part of the animal. Our grandparents, shaped by Depression-era values, grew up with a waste not, want not mentality. They knew how to turn less desirable cuts into delicious, nutritious meals that made liver a star of the dinner table. Ever spotted a mysterious jar of pinkish objects at an old school bar? These were once as common as peanuts or pretzels. We're talking about pickled pig's feet, a snack that might make modern foodies squirm, but was once a real treat. These gelatinous morsels were a hit in local watering holes. The pickling process, which involved soaking the feet in vinegar and spices, made them safe to eat for days. Imagine biting into the tender, slightly chewy meat with a tangy, salty flavor that paired perfectly with a cold beer. Pickled pig's feet weren't just bar food, though. They were a testament to our grandparents' resourcefulness, using every part of the animal. Popular in regions with German and Eastern European influences, these pink delicacies soon found their way into jars across the country. Speaking of unexpected food sources, wait until you hear about the next surprising snack our ancestors enjoyed. Ever wondered what that yellow-flowered weed in your yard could do besides ruin your lawn? Hang on to your hats, folks, because we're about to reveal the secret ingredient Grandpa might have been hiding in plain sight. Dandelion greens, once considered a nuisance, are now prized for their culinary potential. European settlers brought dandelions to America on purpose, valuing them for food and medicine. Packed with vitamins A, C, and K, plus calcium and iron, these greens were a nutritious goldmine growing right under our noses. People prepared them in various ways, sautéed with garlic and olive oil, tossed in salads, or added to soups and stews. Some even blanched them first to cut down on the bitterness. It wasn't just about making do, it was about making something delicious. Ever wondered about a breakfast so hearty you could slice it like bread? Let's journey back to when cornmeal ruled the breakfast table. Our grandparents were pros at making simple ingredients shine, and cornmeal mush was their secret weapon. This humble dish has roots in Native American cuisine. Talk about history on your plate. Imagine the gentle bubbling of cornmeal on a stove, filling the kitchen with warm, comforting aromas. Once cooled, it became a sliceable loaf that could feed a family for days. It was the ultimate budget-friendly meal during tough times, a stark contrast to today's sugary cereals and instant oatmeals. Cornmeal mush wasn't just for breakfast. Leftover mush? They'd slice it and fry it for dinner. Now that's resourceful. But if you think cornmeal mush is unusual, wait until you hear what people ate before it became popular. Ever heard of head cheese? It's not cheese at all, but a savory terrine made from the head of a calf or pig. Grandpa's kitchen would fill with the aroma of a large pot simmering for hours, packed with meat and parts we'd rarely use today. Making head cheese wasn't just about food. It was a community event. Families and neighbors would gather, sharing stories and laughter as they worked together. The process involved slow cooking the meat until it formed a jelly-like consistency. This thrifty cooking method has roots in Southern and Eastern European cuisines, like Germany's Schulze. As refrigeration became common and convenience foods rose in popularity, head cheese gradually fell out of favor with modern palates. From meat jelly to canned delights, our culinary journey takes a surprising turn. Ever heard of Spam and eggs? This unlikely duo was a breakfast staple for many of our grandparents. Introduced in 1937, Spam became a wartime hero during World War II. Picture a soldier, far from home, opening his rations to find a familiar pink brick. The U.S. military dished out over 100 million cans during the war. Back home, Spam's popularity soared. In the 1940s and 50s, Americans were gobbling up more than 15 million cans every week. Grandpa would slice it up, fry it alongside eggs, and voila! A hearty breakfast was served. Today, Spam still sizzles in many kitchens, from Hawaii's musubi to Asian fried rice. Its journey from wartime necessity to global icon Shows how ingenuity can transform our plates. Ever heard of a pie that tastes like apples but doesn't contain a single slice of fruit? Welcome to mock apple pie, a sweet slice of Depression-era ingenuity that'll make your taste buds question everything. During the 1930s Great Depression, apples became a luxury many couldn't afford, but Americans weren't about to let scarcity stop them from enjoying their favorite dessert. Enter mock apple pie, using Ritz crackers to mimic apples. When baked with sugar and cinnamon, the crackers' starch breaks down, creating a texture and taste surprisingly similar to cooked apples. This pie wasn't just about fooling palates, it became a symbol of American resourcefulness and determination. In tough times, families found a way to keep comfort food on their tables, showcasing the innovation and adaptability that define the American spirit. Remember those mysterious parcels on Grandma's table? Those were cabbage rolls, a comfort food that's like a warm hug wrapped in a leaf. My family used to gather every Sunday to make them, with Grandma teaching us her secret recipe. These multicultural sensations crossed oceans and connected generations. From Poland's gołąbki to Romania's Somali, cabbage rolls have roots all over Europe. Immigrants brought their recipes to America, adapting them to fit their new home. Packed with protein, carbs, and vitamins, these little powerhouses could feed a crowd and were perfect for using up leftovers. It's like an edible history lesson on your plate. Speaking of unusual ingredients, wait until you hear about the next dish that uses a part of the animal you'd never expect. Scrapple, the Pennsylvania Dutch breakfast staple, is a culinary adventure. This unique loaf combines pork scraps, head, heart, and liver with cornmeal and spices, simmered to perfection. The name scrapple reflects its thrifty origins. When fried, it develops a crispy exterior while maintaining a soft, savory interior. The aroma of spices fills the kitchen, promising a hearty meal that uses every bit of the pig. Scrapple's taste is rich and complex, with hints of sage and pepper. In Pennsylvania Dutch culture, it represents resourcefulness and tradition. Some folks can't get enough of its distinctive flavor and texture, while others shy away. But whether you love it or hate it, scrapple remains a testament to our grandparents' waste not, want not philosophy. Remember that mysterious jar of colorful, chunky stuff in Grandma's fridge? That tangy topper that added zing to everything from hot dogs to sandwiches? We're about to uncover the secrets of chow chow relish, a staple in Grandpa's day. Picture Grandma's kitchen in late summer. Filled with the vinegary aroma of pickling, she's stirring a vibrant mix of green tomatoes, cabbage, and bell peppers, preserving the last of the summer harvest. Chow chow wasn't just tasty, it was practical, ensuring nothing went to waste and brightening winter meals when fresh veggies were scarce. The name chow chow likely comes from the French word chou, for cabbage, a key ingredient. As you traveled across America, you'd find different versions reflecting local veggies and spices. In the South, you might find okra, while New England versions often included apples. It's like a tasty geography lesson in a jar. But chow chow wasn't the only way to keep summer flavors alive. Ever wondered why codfish cakes were a Friday night staple? It's not just about tasty seafood. There's a fascinating history behind these golden patties. In early America, the cod fishing industry was booming, especially in New England. Salt cod, preserved through drying and salting, became crucial for its easy storage and transport. The cakes were closely tied to Christian traditions of meat-free Fridays, but they were also a clever way to stretch budgets and use leftovers. Imagine the aroma of cod mixed with potatoes, onions, and spices sizzling in the pan. Over time, changing fishing practices and overfishing have affected cod populations, leading to stricter rules. This has impacted how often codfish cakes appear on modern tables, with some folks even swapping cod for other fish in their recipes. Ever wondered why Grandpa craves sweets at dawn? Enter shoe fly pie, the breakfast dessert that had our ancestors ditching eggs and toast. This molasses marvel was a morning ritual in Pennsylvania Dutch country, filling kitchens with its rich, sweet aroma. Picture Grandpa savoring a slice of gooey, crumb-topped pie alongside strong coffee. Weird to us, but hey, back then, it made perfect sense. Shoe fly pie wasn't just tasty, it was practical. Made from pantry staples like molasses, flour, and brown sugar, it provided energy for long days of manual labor when fresh fruit was scarce. The molasses trade played a crucial role in early American cuisine, making this pie a staple. And that name? It came from shooing away flies attracted to its sweetness on summer days. Speaking of unique names, wait until you hear about the next dish on our list. While shoe fly pie might have sweetened mornings, not all of Grandpa's memorable meals were sugar-coated. Ready to uncover the salty, creamy concoction that became a military legend? This dish's story is as rich as its sauce, and twice as surprising. Ever heard Grandpa reminisce about SOS? Cream chip beef on toast was a staple in military mess halls for decades. Picture this, a pile of creamy beef sauce smothering a slice of toast. One veteran recalled, "It wasn't pretty, but it filled you up and kept you going." In military kitchens, cooks would rehydrate dried beef and mix it with a flour-based white sauce. The result? A hearty, protein-packed meal that could feed an army. After the war, many veterans brought their taste for this creamy creation back home, with some families even adding their own twists. Ever wonder what kept early settlers going during those first brutal winters? Enter Johnny Cakes, the unsung hero of American breakfast history. These simple cornmeal flatbreads, inspired by Native American cooking, were whipping up a storm in kitchens long before boxed cereal hit the shelves. Picture this. It's a chilly morning in colonial times. Grandma's at the griddle, expertly flipping golden cakes that'll keep the family fueled up for a long day of hard work. Quick to make and filling, these babies were the original fast food of early America. Made from just cornmeal, water, and salt, they were the ultimate survival food, packed with energy from complex carbohydrates. As settlers moved across the country, so did these versatile cakes. Each region put its own spin on the recipe, adding milk, syrup, or honey. Speaking of controversial ingredients, wait until you hear about the next breakfast staple that stirred up quite a debate. Ready for a taste of controversy? While Johnny Cakes were spreading across the country, another divisive staple was rising from the South. Ever wonder why your grandma's biscuits were impossibly flaky? The secret ingredient might make you raise an eyebrow. Let's talk about lard biscuits, a Southern classic that's been stirring up debates for generations. These rich, flaky treats were beloved for a good reason. Imagine biting into a warm biscuit that's crispy on the outside, yet tender and moist on the inside. That unmistakable aroma filling Grandma's kitchen wasn't just comforting, it was downright nostalgic. Lard biscuits weren't just tasty, they were thrifty too. Back in the day, lard was often a byproduct of home butchering. Waste not, want not, as our grandparents used to say. It was a practical choice for budget-conscious bakers looking to create something special without breaking the bank. Remember those mouth-watering aromas from Grandpa's kitchen? Those forgotten foods were more than just delicious. They told a story of resourcefulness and community. Now, there's a growing interest in reviving these traditional recipes. People are craving nostalgic meals that remind them of simpler times. Why not try one of these classic dishes yourself? You might discover a new favorite that connects you to your family's culinary history. There's something special about enjoying a meal packed with memories and heart. Ready to take your taste buds on a trip down memory lane? Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll explore more modern twists on these timeless recipes. Get ready to put your own spin on Grandpa's classics.